Hello, my dear friends. But due to some electricity problem, the earlier link was broken, so don't worry, we will start it again. I was telling before that the group which we have created for this physiology class purpose, this group is no longer sustained because this is quite difficult for me to regulate and go through this group beta and to answer each and every questions of you. So you are having my personal number, and you can write me on my WhatsApp number, and those who will write me only on my WhatsApp, I will reply. Okay, beta? So please you can remember these words. So let's talk about this cardiovascular systems. In cardiovascular systems, we are talking about that in cardiovascular systems, the organ which is included, that is number one, that is heart, and number two is vessels. So in heart, what is the function of the heart? Function of heart is it is pumping of blood. And what is the function of vessels? It is like a pipeline, carry blood. Later on, we'll see what are the functions of the heart and how the vessels is functions and what are the different type of vessels is there. So talking about the heart is weight around 300 grams and muscle which is present over here is the cardiac muscles. In layer which we have discussed about, there is going from inside to outside. Inside, that is endocardium, then myocardium, then epicardium and pericardium. So endocardium, myocardium, epicardium and pericardium. So these are the 3 layers or 4 layers are present over here. So like pericardium or epicardium, then the myocardium and endocardium. Talking about the contraction systole, relaxation diastole. Is contraction systole, this is your depolarization, and relaxation diastole is repolarization. Right, beta? So we already talked about this. This is contraction, also called as systoles, also called as depolarizations. This is relaxation, diastole or repolarization. This is contraction, systole, depolarization, relaxation, diastole, repolarization. Right, beta? So talking about little bit about this heart. This heart actually, it is having 4 chambers. Right, beta? It is having 4 chambers. This is your right atria, left atria, right ventricle, left ventricle, right? So it is having 4 chambers: right atria, right ventricle, left ventricle. How the blood comes? Blood comes through this vessels over here, and this is your vena cava. So first blood comes into the right atria. Okay. Then what happens? From this right atria, this blood goes into the right ventricle. Then from right ventricle, this blood goes into the lungs to taking exchange of these gases. Then it will come back into the left atria, and then goes into the left ventricle. And then from the left ventricle, it goes out through the aorta, through your aorta. So this is how this blood comes, enters inside of your blood, inside of your heart, and this is how it goes from this chamber. First of all, from right atria, it goes into the right ventricle, then through pulmonary artery beta, it goes into the left atria, it goes into the lung, then from lungs it comes into the left atria, then left ventricle, and then into the circulation through the aorta. Right, beta? Remember one thing: what happens when this blood comes into over here through this vena cava or venous filling? Right, beta? This is also called the venous filling. So when this blood comes into this right atria, and this is a venous filling, similar time this blood is also comes from this pulmonary vein, from the lungs. So this both atria fills together, and when they are filling, beta, so ideally if they are filling, so there should be some presence of the wall. There is presence of the wall like this, then only they will be filled up. So combinedly, these walls, these 2 walls, they are present between atria and ventricle, That is why combinedly we call that is AV wall, atrioventricular wall. And in this atrioventricular wall, this wall is making of the 3 cusps, like 3 domes, 3 leaves. So this is called as tricuspid wall. And this is made up of 2 cusps, so called as bicuspid wall or mitral wall. So combinedly we can call that AV wall, and this is tricuspid wall, this is bicuspid wall. So now the question comes: the right atria and left ventricle, which wall is present? Tricuspid wall. Left atria, left ventricle, which wall is present? Bicuspid wall. Right, beta? Then this blood comes from here, right, beta? And then it feels like this, and we already know that cardiac muscle shows functional sensation. Functional sensation means these both ventricles contracts together, and both this atria contracts together. So first of all, this atria will be contract, blood will come into the ventricle, and when this ventricle will contract, this blood will get out from this ventricle. From right ventricle, it will get out for the lungs. From left ventricle, it goes out for the systemic circulation. Right, beta? So this is how both atria contracts together, both ventricle contracts together, and this condition is called as functional sensation. Right? Then what happens, beta? Next is this blood goes out like this. This blood goes out like this. And what is this, beta? This is your pulmonary artery. Artery, I already told you, the pipeline which takes the blood away from the heart, that is called as artery. The blood when comes towards the heart, the pipeline is called as vein. Right, beta? So if जो भी blood को heart की तरफ लेके आएगी, vein, जो भी blood को heart से दूर ले जाएगी, that is artery. Right? So this blood is right now going through this pulmonary artery into the lungs. Right? Similarly, from here, beta, from here, this blood is getting out. Right, beta? This blood is also getting out, and this is going into the circulation, systemic circulation. Right? So similarly, beta, there is also the presence of the wall should be over here. Wall should be present over here, and these walls are actually looks like a half moon shape. These walls are looks like a half moon shape, and for half moon we use the word semi-lunar wall. Semi-lunar wall. So combinedly we call them semi-lunar wall. And this is your pulmonary semi-lunar wall, and this is aortic semi-lunar wall. So pulmonary semi-lunar wall and aortic semi-lunar wall. Right, beta? So 2 wall which we have seen. Number 1 wall between the both atria and ventricle. Another wall which we have seen between the atria, between the aorta and pulmonary vein. This semi-lunar wall. Right, beta? So 2 walls are present. What is happening? First of all, blood is present over here. When it comes down together, what happens? These walls opens like this, and then after pulling down all the bloods, these walls actually close. So first they opens like this, and then they close like this. So now beta, tell me about the heart sound. The heart sound means whenever these walls are closed, because अगर गेट खुलता है, अगर दरवाजा खुलेगा तो कोई साउंड आता है क्या बेटा? कोई भी साउंड नहीं आता है. बट जैसे ही दरवाजा बंद होता है तो साउंड आता है ना, बिल्कुल like this. So this is how whenever these walls will be open, no heart sound will be there. Whenever these walls close like this, they create the sound. So first heart sound is coming due to because the blood is present over here, and this is coming down from here and from here. So first of all, these AV wall will be closed. So first heart sound due to this first AV wall closer. Or either we can say tricuspid wall closer, bicuspid wall is closer. Right, beta? Then this blood present over here, then this blood gets out from here. similarly gets out from here in iota. Now what is happening? The semilunar wall is opening, and once the semilunar wall will open, afterwards it will again close, and the second heart sound will be created. This pulmonary or aortic wall closer, pulmonary or aortic wall closer, right? So first heart sound due to this AV wall closer, second heart sound due to this semilunar wall closer, right? So this is talking about the two walls. This is talking about two walls, and these two walls are creating the sound, right? I hope now it is very well understood to you that first heart sound is due to AV wall closer, second heart sound due to semilunar wall closer, right? Then what happens, beta? Always remember, when this right atria or left atria, whenever they filled up 2/3, how much, beta? 2/3. This 2/3 blood actually drops down into the ventricle. This 2/3 blood drops down into the ventricles, and beta, remember, whenever this blood drops down into the ventricle, this is called as passive ventricular filling. Why passive? Because right now this atria doesn't contract. These atria doesn't contract. They are only simply filling due to the gravity. And if the blood is coming down due to the gravity, it means no energy is required. And if no energy is required, this is, we can use the word ventricular filling. And without energy ventricular filling, that is called as passive ventricular filling. Now, what happens, beta? Remaining 1/3 blood is coming down into the ventricles. How? When this atria will contract. And once this atria will contract, it means this is requires energy, and this is called as active ventricular filling. So remember, beta, what happens? You can take a milk packet. Take the milk packet like this, hold it like this, and below there is a pot, and you just make a cut on this milk packet. What will happen, beta? Initially, the first 1/3 filling of this pot will be very fast due to the gravity, more volume. So first 1/3 will come very fastly. After next 1/3 will come very slowly because due to the less volume, but still gravity is there. So till now, first 1/3 very rapid but passive. No energy is required. Only due to the gravity the milk is coming down. Second 1/3 again, it is coming down due to the gravity, but volume is less. So this volume is coming very slowly. Whatever fluid is coming, this fluid is coming very slowly. So again, first 1/3 is passive, second 1/3 is passive. But difference is first 1/3 is very fast, and second 1/3 is very slow. And beta, this slow second 1/3 passive ventricular filling is called as diastasis. What we call this? Diastasis. Remember my words. Next, after this, when this 2/3 milk comes down into the pot, what happens, beta? Now for remaining of the milk, what you will do? You will squeeze up this milk packet and takes out remaining milk, whatever present inside of this packet. And whenever you are squeezing like this, it means you are putting the energy over here. And similarly, out